I want to talk about political parties and primaries and independents and open primaries. Now, let me say this. Political parties operate outside of the government. They should operate outside of the government. What do I mean? Clearly they operate in the government in the sense that they elect people or help people get elected to be leaders in government. Absolutely. And they do shape policy. But who is in the party, who the party nominates, is an internal matter within those parties. Because, and it has to remain so. Why? Because if you don't allow parties to pick who will be in their party and what their policies and goals of their party will be, you essentially destroy the political party in question. Now, that brings me to the issue of elections and the open primaries. Now, in this current election, we had a number of open primaries, and McCain won the Republican nomination without ever getting more than 30 or 40% of the Republican vote. He got majority independents and Democrats in an open primary voting for him. So in a very true way, in a very real, tangible way, the Republican Party's nominee for president was decided by non-party members. Now, this is a problem because it destroys the party in question. Now, for blue bloods who are seeking to terminate the influence of conservatives in their party, this is a good thing because they can use this as a way of basically pigeonholing the conservatives and getting rid of them, you know, silencing them, putting them back on the plantation and shutting them up. But in a broader sense, is a bad thing. I'm not particularly fond of efforts to corrupt the Democrat Party's election. But to be perfectly frank with you, they did it to us. It's going to be all fairs and love and war now. But I would like to see something coming back to civility, where we basically say, if you want to stay in a political party, join the political party. If you want to be an independent, then you just have to wait for either the independents to get together and choose a candidate, or for the general election. And the general election is, by definition, open to everyone. In other words, you can vote whoever you want. And that's the way it should be. Unfortunately, that's not the way we have it now. There's a big effort to push for these independents to be able to vote where they want, or open primaries where anyone can vote anywhere. And I think that's really destroyed the election system. And oh, by the way, issues of democracy and the political parties in question. The Democrats demonstrate clearly that they don't like democracy. The mere fact that they have a group of uber elites that get one vote per person, while their membership only get a certain number of delegates per state, it shows how little they trust true democracy. But on the bright side, Democrats are much nicer in the sense that they allow percentage voting of delegates. In other words, it's not winner take all. It's, you know, you get a percentage of the vote and you get a certain number of votes based on those percentages. Of course, in their case, they make this incredibly complex formula to figure all that out. But in a more simplistic fashion, it makes sense. Why should someone who only gets 51% of the vote get 100% of the delegates for that state? The Republicans, on their side of the fence, give it 51% of the vote gives you all the vote. 30%, if everyone else is below 30%, you get all the vote. And that's how McCain got the nomination, not because he was hugely popular amongst Republicans, not because he was hugely popular amongst any large constituents, possibly maybe the exception of blue bloods. It was because he had that just enough of percentage to get the majority, and that gave him all the votes. Anyways, I have no bird in this race right now. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Hopefully they'll make corrections in the election process. I don't know.